This is a sad day. It is a sad day when we, the minority, are here on the House floor begging the majority to take care of our senior citizens. And not just any senior citizens. You know, I get that Chair Knorr is talking about historic investments in senior citizens. It's not in our nursing homes. And our nursing homes is where our most vulnerable senior citizens are. Families do not make that choice for their loved ones if there is any other choice. We want to care for our loved ones. We choose to keep them home. But there comes a point when the care needed is more than what we're able to give. And those family members, those grandmas and grandpas, those moms and dads are in our nursing home facilities. And we've actually been, as a minority party this year, we've actually been really careful about this issue. We've worked really hard to not politicize this issue. We wanted to go through this process to allow time to make sure that the funding is there to take care of our senior citizens. And we didn't want to, frankly, screw that up along the way because of politics. So we've been really careful on this. However, last week in committee, we reviewed the governor's budget. And in his budget, he proposed $3.9 million. $3.9 million for our nursing homes. And not for all of our nursing homes, frankly, for a very limited number of critical access nursing homes. $3.9 million. We were also told in committee that that was the governor's recommendation because we have limited resources to work with. Limited resources. Folks, we have never in the history of the state of Minnesota had the resources we have now to devote to the most vulnerable Minnesotans. Never in state history. My goodness, if we don't have the resources now, we never will. Our nursing homes may as well close up shop and be done. Because if we can't take care of them right now, we clearly don't care about doing so. That is the statement we are making with the current budget proposals. That same $3.9 million that the governor proposed is what we will be passing today in an omnibus bill out of the Human Services Committee. Now, thank you to Chair Knorr. I've sat down and I've talked to Chair Knorr, and he knows very clearly how I feel about this. And I've also made it very clear to him that I understand that he had really tough decisions to make. Because out of an $18 billion budget surplus, the leaders of the House and Senate and the governor decided that 7% of that $18 billion was enough to care for the most vulnerable Minnesotans in this state. For our senior citizens, for our disabled community, that's it. 7%. And so I understand that Chair Knorr had difficult decisions to make, but the leadership of this body has failed him, and the leadership of this body has failed the senior citizens of the state of Minnesota. The leadership of this body has failed our grandparents, our parents, our brothers and sisters, our aunts and uncles, who deserve our care, who deserve to be our priority. But instead, we have different priorities in this chamber. Well, we have $4 million, 3.9 actually, $3.9 million for our nursing home facilities. We have $28 million for the zoo. $28 million for the animals in the zoo, $3.9 million for our loved ones in nursing homes. Do you see a problem with this? Another priority, $194 million for a high-speed train to Duluth. I don't know, has anybody been to Duluth? I go there a lot. I don't know what the heck you're going to do in Duluth once you get there and you don't have a car. What nonsense. $194 million for a train to Duluth, $3.9 million for our senior citizens in nursing homes. $3.9 million for our nursing homes, $3.8 million for the Board of Cosmetology. Perhaps they should be disbanded. $3.9 million for our seniors in nursing homes. $2 million, you're going to love this, $2 million for poetry, art, and dance classes for felons. Poetry, art, and dance classes for felons are worth the same amount of money our nursing homes are getting for 1 year of the biennium. We've got $100 million going to grants to get more grants. But $4 million for our senior citizens in nursing homes. $3.9 million for our senior citizens in nursing homes. $4 million, we are putting more money into turning lawns into legumes than we are in taking care of our senior citizens in nursing homes. $4 million for lawns to legumes. 3.9 for our nursing homes. Hollywood film producers are getting 10 times as much money as our loved ones in nursing homes. $40 million in tax credits for Hollywood producers. 3.9 for our loved ones, the most vulnerable Minnesotans. Even more than that, 11 times as much money. You're going to love this. 11 times as much money, $44 million for an income tax credit for people who buy an electric vehicle. If you can afford to buy an electric vehicle, you don't need the tax credit. Give that money to our loved ones. Give that money to our nursing homes. $48 million for a solar tax credit. Again, if you can afford to put solar on your home, that's a lot of money. And if you can afford it, you can afford to do it without the tax credit. Give the money to our senior citizens. Give the money to our nursing homes. $17 million for 27 new employees at the Department of Human Rights. We're paying for 27 new employees at the Department of Human Rights. We are not paying for a single new employee at a nursing home. We're told that long-term care is getting historic investments. It's not our nursing homes. There's a difference. We're going to mince some words here. But there's kind of some obfuscating going on. Because guess what? There are lots of buckets here that are a little confusing, and I understand that if you're not in the human services world, you don't necessarily understand the difference between long-term care more broadly and elderly waiver and DWRS. I get it. We got a lot of things going on. But the bottom line is there is no money going to our nursing homes. And maybe this hasn't affected your district yet. And I say yet because it surely will. In the last year, we have already seen 5 nursing homes close their doors entirely. 5 nursing homes across the state of Minnesota have closed their doors. Just last week, a nursing home in Representative Keel's district closed. It was the only nursing home in the entire county. And now those residents are going to have to find homes elsewhere because that nursing home is gone. There's 3 more slated to be gone and even more beds. We're losing beds all over the place. We talk about the nursing home closures. That's one issue. But we're losing beds all over the state. I guarantee if you take the time to talk to your nursing home administrators, they will tell you that they are no longer serving the same number of people they were before. And it's not because there are not people in need. There were 11,000 denials. 11,000. There were 11,000 people seeking care in a nursing home in 1 month who were denied. There is no room. And there's also no money in these budgets to make sure that we are taking care of these folks. Folks, priorities matter. We are told all the time that a budget is a moral document. If that is true, the morality of this budget that has been proposed is corrupt. This budget is immoral. When we can piddle away millions and millions of dollars on insignificance and leave our senior citizens to languish. We do not bring up this urgency today to play gotcha, to score political points. We bring up this urgency today because we have been told by the governor and we have been told by this body that we just can't find money for our nursing homes. There's nothing left. I implore you, think about your priorities. Think about the people that you have been charged to care for. By being given this mantle, this responsibility of being a legislator and representing the people of your district, I promise you that the people of my district want me to take care of their loved ones. I will be voting yes